hardship and challenges of raising my children in Department of Housing for 15 years has definitely given me the experience to be able to relate to people who have gone through similar circumstances or are currently going through similar circumstances. I understand what it means to struggle financially and have to go to services like Lone Parents to get vouchers for Coles and also to pay for my petrol or have be sent to places like shoe shops, and one in particular was Mike Pauly in DY, where I'd get a voucher for my son's football boots so that I could buy his football boots. I know what it means to have a bag of peas and a bag of rice in my cupboard in those days, and being grateful that I did to be able to cook and have something for my children. But when I couldn't afford the grocery bills and I couldn't afford the rent, I understand these struggles, and I understand also because I embraced in my Department of Housing where I could assist other families that had emotional needs or physical needs or practical needs. I helped in that area, and I helped my general community. The young people that used to drop in to my home and having homeless children that I would have in our home and make them part of our family, and then trying to find accommodation for them because we only had a 3-bedroom home and the bedrooms were quite small. A lot of these children would stay in the lounge room and sometimes share the bedrooms with my boys. I grew up in a neighbourhood in the 60s where Mum would say, run up to Mrs. Kelly and ask her if you can have an egg, run up to Mrs. Harris and ask for half a cup of sugar. And they were things that we would do in our neighbourhood. So when I moved from having grown up in Brookvale and then in Beacon Hill and moving into Department of Housing with 15 other families, people were very curious about me. They were also suspicious of me. They told me what I couldn't do, what I could do. And I thought, how do I break down some of these barriers? And I remember back to my childhood. So the Seventh-day Adventist Church would deliver a box of bread every week to me. And so with my children, we would go to the other units and offer bread, and people would be shocked. People would say, oh, well, you're the first person in this unit that's offered me anything, and say thank you very much. And as we were doing that on a weekly basis, people then started saying, oh, do you have any of that olive bread, or do you have that sunflower seeded bread? And I'd make a point of trying to find those breads for them. And after a while, people started relating on a more friendly basis. But we did have people who, there were all sorts of the normal things that come with Department of Housing, all the social issues, health issues, they were there as well. So we worked as well as we could, and not that it was smooth going all the time. Don't ever think that. There were plenty of times where we had police knocking at our doors for incidences and police questioning us about other neighbours. There was definitely, times where there was domestic violence, there was drug-related incidences, there was alcohol-related incidences, and there was suicide as well, an attempted suicide. So we didn't grow up in the most wonderful environment that I would have liked for my children. I often remember thinking, oh God, this is so hard. This is not what I wanted. I wanted a beautiful home. I wanted a beautiful environment. My parents had provided me with a beautiful 3-bedroom, 5-room home when I was a little girl, with a fantastic multicultural neighbourhood, with picnics and a creek across the road and swinging off the willow trees and collecting tadpoles and going to the beach. So what I ended up bringing my children into wasn't really the most wonderful environment. But it was those environments that taught my children to be streetwise, to learn to stand up for themselves and to be proud of who they are. And we have a very strong connection in that my children are very protective of me. I'm very protective of them. And that's helped us to stay very close as a family. But it was those hardships that have taught my children to overcome in life and embrace problems and overcome.